Hi, my name is Annie Hayes, and I'm here with JazzEd Detroit, and I am representing the Detroit Symphony Orchestra's Civic Youth Ensembles. I'm originally from Fenton, Michigan, and I started playing the drums when I was 3 years old. I don't know who in their right mind gives a 3-year-old a drum set, but I'm thankful to my mom for doing that. And I always just loved that I felt so free behind the drum set. There's no feeling like it to me, and that's the reason I am still playing today. I love working at the DSO. I love working with the students at the Civic Youth Ensembles. And what I think is really cool about our programs is the fact that it's really student-led and that students are able to take control of their own education and their own musical voice. I can't encourage you enough to come work with the Detroit Symphony and Civic Youth Ensembles, to have your kids come audition and your friends come audition, and to just join a ton of like-minded people and to play your instruments and just to have a good time. So today we're going to be talking about time and the ride pattern. And time can mean a lot of things. Time can mean how your time sounds with another person, like a bassist or a pianist. Time can mean how well you play with a metronome. Time can mean your internal time, like how you perceive rhythm. But today we're going to be talking about time and how it relates to the ride pattern that you hear so often in jazz that goes like this. So the first step that I always take when I'm teaching people how to approach their ride pattern is to think about rebound. When you think about rebound in regard to your drumstick, I want you to think about dribbling a basketball. When you're dribbling that basketball, you're not dribbling, picking up the ball, walking a few steps, and then dribbling some more. You're constantly dribbling the ball and relying on the rebound to come back to you. So when we apply that concept to our ride cymbal, I want you to just first pull the stick back and just let it drop. And then just do that 15 or 20 times. And eventually, once you let it drop and you get comfortable with that, I want you to let it bounce one time after dropping it. And once you feel comfortable with letting the stick come back to you enough after the second bounce, I want you to completely switch gears and to go to just quarter notes on the ride cymbal. And what we're going for when we play the quarter notes on the ride cymbal is the same amount of rebound that we had when we were just letting the stick drop. But the difference is we want there to be a clear evenness to the quarter notes that we're playing, and for there to be equal amounts of time in between each note. And once you get comfortable with that amount of rebound and keeping the time even, the next step is what we call the skip beat. And the skip beat is also sometimes referred to as the spang-a-lang. It's the beat in between the third beat and the first beat on the next bar. So if we're thinking about it in terms of each bar, it's the first and the third partial of a triplet on beat 2 and a beat 4. So when you hear it all together, it's going to sound like this. So the trick to the skip beats is using that rebound that we talked about to get two beats to come out when we were just letting the stick drop. That's where this comes in. So now you have to combine the two things. You have to combine the evenness of the quarter note feel of the time, and then also the lilt that the skip beat provides, and you have to be thinking about the rebound of the stick and having it come back to you. And all of those things will make your ride pattern sound a lot more swinging and a lot more even. You don't want to have your stick kind of fall onto the ride. You want to toe the line between complete evenness and throwing the stick at the ride cymbal, because if you're throwing the stick at the ride cymbal, your time's not always going to be completely even. And that is the most important thing that you need as a drummer, is to have even time. All of the greats have their own individual sounding ride cymbal pattern, even though you might notate it the same and it's all the same notes. Max Roach is never going to sound like Elvin Jones. Elvin Jones is never going to sound like Jimmy Cobb. They all have their own different sounds, and you should too. So find the balance between rebound and evenness and finding where you want the skip beat to sit in the sound, and eventually you'll have a really, really nice ride pattern sound and have a really good time feel. And then once you have the ride pattern down, you're going to add your left foot and you're going to add your right foot. And when you add your left foot, what you want to hear when you close the hi-hat on 2 and 4 is a really clear, what we call a chink sound. And the chink sound should sound like this. And then once your hi-hat and your ride cymbal are settled, we're going to add the kick drum, the bass drum. And when we add the bass drum, we're going to start with what's called feathering. And feathering is when you have the beater doing quarter notes on the bass drum really, really lightly, where it's almost inaudible, but you can feel it. And it's called feathering for that reason. It's really light. And once you put all of those things together, you get what sounds like this. And once you get that down, you're able to move into other things like comping and soloing, and the options are endless once you really, really have your time together and you're able to lead a band with really clear rhythmic time ideas. So if you're a drummer or not, find a pair of sticks, find a ride cymbal, maybe a hi-hat, and figure out how you feel time and how you perceive time. And you'll learn a lot about yourself, your musicianship, and your playing based on just that lesson.
Thanks for watching. Head to dso.org to learn more about their Civic Youth Ensembles jazz programming and opportunities.